Hello and welcome back to the Private Label Masters YouTube channel. Let's go. Let's get this. In today's video, we're going to talk about something I think every single person wants to know, and that is what makes an amazing high-level Amazon seller. Are there any key attributes that are common denominators that I've seen between the most successful ones that I've seen in our program? And I've been able to narrow them down to 4 different things. And these 4 different areas I also see within myself and what have really helped me to have whatever type of success I've had as an entrepreneur. So whether you're just getting started, haven't started, or have been selling on Amazon for a while, I think you're going to get a lot out of this video. Now, as I go through these 4 key common denominators, I would call them, these attributes, look to see, are there one or more that if you're honest with yourself and you use this video like a mirror, that you could do a little bit better on. I promise you, if you focus on these different things, you will see a huge increase in your Amazon output, all right? So what are these 4 things? A little background is I've been mentoring students on how to become Amazon sellers for a few years now. I've seen hundreds of them come, and I've seen many have crazy success. In fact, one of the initiatives that we started doing a few months ago was having 1 student interview every single week. And it seems like, wow, that seems like a lot, Tim, but actually we got it backlogged for probably a couple of years now. But in those 2-hour, 1.5 to 2 hour videos, I've been also looking to see like what are some separators that these students have. And as I've seen the different ones that have come, and I've seen them as like a fledgling turn into a monster seller, what are the things that they all have in common? All right, here they are, the 4 things. The first one is they're risk takers. Now, why is risk taking an important aspect of being an amazing entrepreneur or Amazon seller? Well, most people like safety. They like feeling comfortable. And there's a saying that says life begins at the edge of your comfort zone. And so most people, they live their life kind of like with huge guardrails up. You know, what's the road commonly traveled? And that's typically looks something like you go to school, you get your 9-to-5 job, and you stay there forever. Or you go to school, and maybe you do some college, and then you get that job, and you stay there forever. And, you know, you just work yourself up the ranks. You know what's expected. Nothing crazy is going to jump out of the bushes at you, right? However, when you think of going off the traditional path into entrepreneurship, into becoming an Amazon seller, right? A lot of different things start flying through your head. What is my family going to think? What do I have the capabilities for this? You start thinking a ton of different things. And then you start looking at the actual business model of private label. And unlike other aspects of selling on Amazon, private label is a little more unique. For example, if you do retail arbitrage or online arbitrage, that means you just go to the store, you buy one item, you can see the profit on it on your phone or something. You can have also a really long return policy, right? So if you bought your item at Costco or if you bought your item at Kohl's or something, that means you can return it forever, right? So where's the downside of that? Where's the risk? And there isn't any. And then you just put it up for sale and get some quick cash, you're good. But I've seen many who even get to that level, but they can't get to the private label business model because it's too scary, right? And why do I say that? Well, if you look at the business model in itself, so much of it is like the unknown, right? You're learning a business model that's completely foreign, right? Maybe you're not good at the computer or something like that. And you're like, that's a big risk to try to tackle a business model that's based on technology. Then you have to figure out like where you're going to get your products. And for most successful private label sellers, they're going to places like China. They're like, man, I've never even been to China. I've never talked to anybody from China, nothing. And then you have to order samples, and then you actually place the order. And usually with a private label order, it's a couple $1,000s. So that's quite a bit of money. And then you got to do shipping. Who's done international sea shipping before? Probably nobody if you've never been in this business. And that gets on a boat and it's gone for 30 days. You don't even know if it's showing up. And then it arrives at Amazon, and there's that whole other challenge that leads you there. Advertising, PPC. You know, I hated math. Maybe I wouldn't be good at this. Launching your product. There's other who are like, they're actually selling on Amazon. They're like, if I change my price on this, what's going to happen? I'm afraid I'm not going to change my price. Or what happens if I change a keyword or a title, right? All of these things, all right, are risks in their own right. Some are larger than others. And to some people, it's a bigger risk than other people, all right? What I've found, though, is those who can say, you know what? Yeah, this is a little scary. Yeah, this is out of my comfort zone, but I'm going to give this a shot. And I'm going to make an educated risk-taking decision. So it's not just like going out on a limb, having no clue what you can do. No, it's finding out how can I learn as much as I can, which alleviates a lot of the risk, okay? Through that whole process. So maybe you're like, okay, so to alleviate some of the risk, I'm going to learn from a program for somebody who's done it before. Or to lessen some of the risk, I'm going to read up a lot and study a lot, or not go for the very first product that I find. Or to lessen that risk, I'm going to order quite a few samples or talk to multiple suppliers and get different quotes. Right? And I'm going to use a freight forwarder or someone to ship my products with that other people have been known to ship with. And I'm going to use a method for my PPC that has shown results for many people. You see, it starts to knock down all these different walls that could bring a ton of fear. Now, perhaps you have all that at your disposal and you're still afraid. Well, there's a lot of mindset things you can do. You know, there's books like Psycho-Cybernetics. There's like the book Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. I think the book is called Stop Worrying and Start Living. I think that's by Dale Carnegie. So there's other aspects that you can really start to help yourself. Is this really a big risk, or is it just my mindset that needs some help? Let me help myself. Is this really such a big risk, or am I just trying to do stuff on my own that could lose a lot of money when I could just follow like a proven blueprint or a pattern? So that's the number one thing, risk taking. The very successful students, they don't come up against this wall of fear and just back away. They just keep going through, and they make educated decisions based on the different risks. And they keep in mind, though, that huge reward. Because typically when you take a risk, you only will step out of the comfort zone if the reward is there, right? Let's say you don't like to dance, and there's a risk of getting out on the dance floor, but then that beautiful girl says, like, will you dance with me? See, now you're thinking about it. Well, what are the risks with Amazon? Well, there's plenty of them. Your hard-earned money, your time, your savings, what do other people think? Will you succeed or fail? But what are the rewards? It could change your future. It could change your family's future. It could change your grandkids' future, right? Risk takers. Risk-taking and entrepreneurship go hand in hand, okay? So that's the first thing. Successful Amazon sellers and the most successful students I've seen, they handle risk well, and they push through it. They don't just give in to the fear, all right? What about number two, the second key attribute that I've seen? That is problem solving. If I were to say two things that make a really good entrepreneur, is they're good at risk-taking and problem solving. And they just keep flip-flopping back and forth. They have a risk, they push through it, they problem solve if something goes wrong, and they keep going to new heights. So problem solving is very crucial because, like I said, the common path that many go down, and maybe that's the 9-to-5 or whatever it is, there's nothing jumping out at you at the bushes, and you're like, what do I do? What kind of karate moves do I have to use on this thing? No, but in entrepreneurship, there are many variables. And we just looked over the last year and a half, and we can see tons of variables that happen. Tariffs went up, okay? Shipping prices have gone up. There's other things that I've seen happen where people have to adjust, right? And the great ones, the amazing ones, they're able to pivot almost unemotionally. Like they have their moment, maybe it's a problem, they have their moment, then they get to work on it. So one of the things that I've seen that really help with problem solving, maybe you don't naturally have a knack for problem solving and you're trying to work on developing that skill. What I've seen is being a part of a community really helps this. If you've ever looked into Tesla and how Tesla's autopilot works, imagine they have all these cars out on the road, and every single one of their cars has sensors. And they're live feeding back to the hive mind all the information, every different situation, they see everything. So that the hive mind becomes extremely smart, and it re-uploads all the data to all the vehicles out there. And now the autopilot every single second of every single day is getting smarter and smarter and safer, to the point where it's going to be way smarter, way faster reacting, and know how to make better decisions than the single driver on their own. I don't care if you're a Formula One race car driver or a whatever kind of amazing driver. The hive mind of all that data coming in will eventually be smarter. Now, a good community works exactly the same way. When a situation comes up, we all know that everybody is facing this in the Amazon game. Whether it be things like when COVID first started, it was like a 30 days delivery for products that were not essential products. And then we learned to navigate that. Then the next thing came up, new products, you could only have 200 brought in. Okay, we got to learn how to navigate. Now the most recent thing is inventory, like restock limits, and how to navigate that. And we're starting to see some of these things rolled out in different countries too. So again, problem comes up, right? And it's a problem that whether you're a large seller or brand new, we're all facing. And then you take that problem and you put it out to a community, like what we have at Private Label Masters, and then all of us are attacking this problem, all the minds. And you literally could just sit back and wait, and a lot of times the answers will just come from everybody else. And so being a part of a really good community can really help you with that problem-solving skills. Also, when you think about like when issues come up, how do you react? This is one thing that I've seen work really well. Some people only focus on the problem, very emotional about it, tell everybody about them, they're a victim, Amazon this and Amazon that. And then you have others who are like, all right, I see the problem. Okay, nothing's going to change. Challenge accepted. Let's get this. And they pivot and they get to work, all right? So these different changes and problems that arise in Amazon business, and I'm not saying this in a bad way, but they're never ending. There's always new things coming out, and it's actually exciting. So another thing that great sellers do is when problems arise, they don't get really distraught about it. They have their moment, they start working on it, but there's a part of them, and I see this in myself, that's a little excited. Because when everyone's hitting that panic button and you're cool as a cucumber and you're trying to solve it, you know the sooner you can solve that issue, you got one leg above the competition, right? And let's say there's rapid fire problems that come up and you're just rapid fire working on them instead of getting super emotional about them. Well, what is your competition doing? They're getting upset, they're complaining, they're doing everything but solving the problem. And so because of that, you are increasing the barrier to entry in whatever you're doing. So I love problems when they come up. I encourage them. I almost would love if some huge problem came up right now and knocked out half the sellers, because I'm confident in my skills as an entrepreneur to overcome that problem and to prosper, right? So the successful sellers, they also have that problem-solving skills, all right? And they meet problems not super emotionally, but they go to the resources, they believe in themselves, their intuition, and their problem-solving skills, and they get to work. Now, key trait number 3 that makes amazing, successful Amazon sellers is they're true students of the game. Now, when I say real students of the game, you may think of like a sport. And for example, I love basketball, so I'm going to bring out some names right here. Rajon Rondo. They say that guy, he is a real student of the game. And how does he do that? Well, he watches film all the time. Another student of the game, LeBron James, super high IQ, basketball IQ. He can remember like so many plays. He can read the defense, the offense of opposing teams better than his coach can, right? Because he loves the game and he's a true student and he's always trying to learn. They say the really good players, every single offseason, they have a couple goals in mind of things they're going to improve in their game so that when the next season comes, they're going to be that much better, and they keep doing that process, all right? So true students of the game, of the Amazon game, they don't just one day have some success and then all of a sudden they think they're a master. They don't have to listen to anybody else anymore. No, true students are always keeping their ears open and trying to find ways that they can improve their game. Example, every Tuesday I do a live stream in our student group, and it lasts sometimes up to 2 hours. And in those live streams, there are questions that are super basic, but there's also questions that are kind of technical, all right? And very specific and maybe higher level. The highly successful sellers watch every single one of those live streams, even if it's the replay. Oftentimes it's live, but I see them there, habitually there, like religiously there every single time. And yeah, you could probably get to a point where you're like, man, there's not much here for me. I don't know. But I'm telling you, a true student of the game thinks like this, because this is how I think. I'm in different masterminds for different business things. I read different books. What I look for is one tip. All right. All I need is one little tip, because one tip or one key method or factor at scale on a business is worth an innumerable amount. Okay. So I have joined masterminds that cost over $30,000 a year. And I've sat through mastermind recordings and videos and things that take 6 to 7 hours. And I've pulled away one key point, and I've said that one point makes the whole thing. Whereas other people are like, man, I know all this stuff. Stuff's basic. And I'm like, you know what? When you get higher level, of course, things are going to get basic. All right? A lot of things. But that's where you have to tune in, pay closer attention, have both ears focused, really looking for those 1 or 2 tips that could change your business, right? And maybe they'll only come along once a month or something. But those excellent sellers, they watch every single one of those live streams, every single one. I can go back because I have them all recorded, and I'll make them available to the students. And I can see when they start asking their basic questions until they're asking more advanced questions. Until now, I just know they're there because it says they watched it. And sometimes they'll drop one question. Sometimes they just come on there to watch, to see like how I problem solve something so they can take away something. All right. So stay a student. I don't care what kind of success you're having right now or what kind of success you've had in other businesses. Remember, good information, a true student, you can learn that from all sorts of sources. If someone's new to Amazon, it doesn't mean you ignore them. They could have something or learn something that you had no idea, that they don't even know how good it was, or even higher level, okay? So always keep your ears open. The great students do that. They pay attention. They really are students of the game, and they're always learning no matter how high they get. The moment you stop learning, you may feel like, man, I'm doing good, man. Imagine if I said that. I'm doing good. I'm doing $20 million a year now. I'm gonna do 30. I don't need to listen to anybody. You know what? That mindset might work for a little bit, but it will catch up to me. Because there are others out there who are staying a student, continually learning, and when things change and pass up, and I'm going to be like on an old, I'm going to be using Netscape and AOL on the internet, Juno, if you even know what that is, right? While everyone's upgrading, moving quicker because they're true students. Number 4, attribute number 4, amazing Amazon sellers are a little obsessed. I know that might sound bad, but I would say obsessed, passionate, and they have a love for it, right? If you are, when I'm talking obsessed, you may see like a little kid, right? And he's got his one toy, and that's all he wants to do is play with this one toy. And you're like, do this or do that. No, it's all I want to do. He's obsessed. He's like really focused, right? Now take that as an adult. What does that look like? You may find a ton of people who say like, I'm not good with numbers. I'm not good at, my memory's bad, all this stuff. But let's say they like sports, and you say like, oh, you like college football, right? What's your team? Oh, I like the USC Trojans. Okay, what's their record? It's 18-1. Okay, who are they playing next week? Oh, they play the bowl game. They're playing against UCLA. Okay, who's UCLA's quarterback? Oh, it's this guy. How's he doing? What's his record? Oh, they're 15-6. Okay, great. What has thrown a lot of INTs this year? Yeah, he's 6 INTs and 24 touchdowns. Okay, what's the offensive line for the Trojans? Oh, it's this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. Okay, are these guys all first years? Aren't any of them red shirts? Aren't any of them seniors? Oh yeah, this guy, this guy, this guy. Oh, what's their background? Oh, this guy this year, this guy. Okay, cool. What's their numbers? Because with the helmets on, I can't really tell. Oh yeah, number 51's this guy. Number 61's this guy. Okay, cool. How's the running back for USC this year? Oh, he's great. Does he have any backups? Yeah, he's got this one backup. Okay, how's he doing? He's all right. He's in his second year. He's rushed for an average of 6 yards per carry, so it's pretty good. And you're like, man, I thought you said you weren't good with memory. You have it locked down. You know why? Because they're obsessed, they love it, and they're passionate about it. How can you become passionate and really love the Amazon game? And if you can flip that switch, your learning and your skills go to a new level. And I've seen that with so many different students. They really, really, really enjoy it. Now, let's say When you first found out about Amazon, you felt that way, but over time, your love and your obsession, your passion for it has kind of dwindled. What can you do? What can you do? Think back, all right? Think back. When you first learned about the Amazon business model, how did you feel? Were you excited? Why were you excited? Go back to your why. Maybe it was because you saw, wow, this is exciting and this could change my life. Don't lose that. Keep that fire, keep that energy. Because if you can keep that passion for it and love for it, I'm telling you, that person who is walking around town and thinking about it and excited about it and this and that and he goes over here and he's just thinking about products over here, and he's going inside the store and he's like looking at things with product research in mind. He's here. That guy's doing like reps in his mind while everyone else, maybe his competition, is just like not even thinking about Amazon, and that guy's gonna win. Okay. Let me give you an example of somebody who's a real student, not student, but like loves and is a little obsessed. And it has to do something that's not in Amazon. I know it's getting a little dark, but bear with me. There's a video on YouTube called The Mozart of Chess, and it's Magnus Carlsen, all right? And this kid is a chess wizard. Even in that video, it shows him, he's like playing against like 10 people chess and with his back to them, and he just remembers everything on the board. They asked him, like, you traveled all over the world. Like, what are some of your favorite sites? And he's like, I don't really care about the sites. I only care about chess. And I think it was in London. They took him to this really high place, like a Ferris wheel looking thing. And they said, it's interesting. We watched him. And the whole time he didn't even look out the window. And we kept asking him, what are you thinking about right now? And he's like, I'm thinking about my chess tournament tomorrow. And what are some potential moves? That's the reason that guy wins, all right? That's the reason that guy wins. And you can win like that too. You just have to be a little obsessed, a little passionate, and love the game, okay? So what were those 4 things? Number 1, risk taker. Number 2, problem solver. Number 3, a student, a lifelong student. And number 4, a little bit obsessed. I promise you, if you work on those 4 things and you apply them to your Amazon business, shoot, you can apply them to anything. You will get to another level in your business. I brought out a lot of different key points on how you can work on these things if you struggle with them. I encourage you to do so. Don't just listen to this and be like, well, that was interesting. That makes some great sellers. Be like, I want to get better. And maybe you're already an amazing seller, but there's always a place where you can improve. Same thing with me. You guys, I know it got a little dark out here. Hopefully you can still see me at the end of this video. Take care. If you're interested in learning more about selling on Amazon, there's a link down in the description, like always, on how to join the Private Label Masters program. Remember, we don't take anyone. You can't just buy this thing on a website. You actually have to have a phone interview with someone on my team, and we have to see if you qualify, if we want you a part of that Hive Mind community. Anyways, you guys, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. I'll see you guys in the next video.